Let me start this video with a funny story, and I promise by the end of it, it will be relevant. It's a story about how I used my thumbprint. When I was 21 years old, I was still at university and I was finishing up my business degree. I also happened to get married when I was 21 years old, and my wife and I, we didn't waste a whole lot of time, so within a couple weeks of us being married, we were already pregnant. Well, she was. I just helped. On top of all this, my beautiful wife was working as a waitress, trying to pay the bills, and we had just bought in our first place, our first condo. So we're young, I'm a full-time student, my wife, who's our only source of income, is working a full-time job, but she's pregnant, so she'll be leaving that behind soon, and we've got a mortgage. Needless to say, there was a lot of pressure on me, or at least I felt there was a lot of pressure on me to do well in school so that I could go out and get a good job. So one day I walked into one of my business classes. It was one of those Friday classes that you would spend 3 hours on a Friday afternoon going over, and it was for business presentations and the like. And before we could even sit down and before I could even take my coat off, the professor walks in and she says, "You know what, guys? Today I have a special assignment for you guys, and it's not here, so don't get comfortable. Put your coats back on, and we're gonna go someplace else." So she ends up trekking us all throughout the university, and eventually we come to this room that I had never been to before. And in that room was, painting easels and canvases and paintbrushes and paint. And I could already kind of get an idea of, what we were going to have to do. The teacher says, "You know what, guys, money's important, and, business presentations, they're important too, but I want you to understand that, behind every business deal, behind every presentation is a human person. And so I want you guys to paint something that means something to you, right? Convey who you are. And I want you to paint it. And at the end of class, at the end of the 2.5 hours, we're going to have 30 minutes at the end of this class here to present, our paintings to each other." So I'm thinking to myself, holy crap, what the hell am I going to paint? I am a terrible painter. So I sat there thinking a bit about it for a second and thinking about what the heck I was going to paint. And after about 5 minutes of thinking about it, I took my thumbprint, I dipped it in the black paint, and right in the middle of this massive canvas was my thumbprint. And then I dipped my pinky, and once again right in the middle of this massive canvas, right beside the big thumbprint, I put my pinky print. So there was a thumbprint and a pinky print, and I walked out of class. So now at this point, a few friends of mine that were in this business class with me were already kind of like shaking their heads because they knew I was up to something. I kind of had a bit of a reputation for getting out of situations like these relatively creatively. So when I came back about 2.5 hours later, I was drinking a Coke, I was eating a sub from Subway, I was, just basically enjoyed the last 2.5 hours while everybody was busy painting their masterpieces. So I was one of the ones that had to present near the end. I just so happened to be out of the 30 people in the class, I was like the second or third last person to present, and people were presenting before me. So students in front of me start presenting their paintings, and some had painted a cabin at the lake, their favorite lake, or some people had presented their favorite pet. And then there's me, my thumbprint and my pinky print. And so the teacher finally gets to me, and you can just tell the total look of bemusement on her face, at my supposed lack of effort into my painting. And the professor looks at me and she says,
"Okay, Conrad, what's your painting about?"
I took a small moment, and then I replied. I said, "Well, as some of you know, I'm newly married. I've got a kid on the way, and it's both super exciting and equally as much terrifying. And I don't have too many classes left before I'm out into the real world, and I've got to go make an income, and I've got to support this family and this brand new child. And I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I don't know how things will turn out for me. I don't know where I will end up. All I know is why I'm doing what I'm doing and who I'm doing it for. That's all I know. That thumbprint, that's my identity. That's me. But that pinky print is also from that same hand, while it's unique on its own. I'm about to bring my own child into this world, this human life that's going to depend on me. He's from the same family, from the same hand. But he's very unique on his own, and it'll be my responsibility, as daunting as it might seem, to make sure that that little human being grows up in a way that he's okay being unique." Needless to say, my professor absolutely loved my painting by the end of that presentation, and I ended up getting full marks for it with something as simple as a thumbprint and a pinky print. So despite being a terrible painter, I ended up still getting full marks because I ended up being a good storyteller. Why? I succeeded because I enjoyed it. Personal finances are no different. I've seen so many people put aside their passions, the things that excite them, the things that they enjoy, because they feel if they want to be financially secure, if they want to reach that financial independence, they've got to work that job that they hate, working longer hours than they want to work. They feel like they have to live a life of sacrifice, and in the end spend most of their life just worrying about money. This channel is all about defying that. It's a Canadian flavor on personal finance. I want to give you tools and knowledge necessary to help set you up for success, insider tips that can help save you money, and to discuss real estate and investing, two things that I happen to be passionate about. If that sounds like a journey that you would want to join me on, then please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification so that you're alerted when new videos come out.